I don't think anyone has really played a young Joaquin Phoenix before.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, so I put a lot of pressure on myself to do him justice and to make him proud, basically, because it's Joaquin Phoenix. I felt as though my acting had to be on his level, so I was really, really worried about that. But thankfully, on my last day of filming, Joaquin came to talk to me, and he basically said that I did great, and he told me that my original self-tape audition actually inspired a lot of his older version of Beau. So that really meant a lot to me. That's amazing. That's coming awesome. From Joaquin, and he put me at ease.
Welcome back, everybody, to another one of our CONVOS. Today joining us is another very special guest, Armen Nahapetian. I think I got that right.
Yeah, all good.
Cool. So you're an actor, young actor. You have a new movie coming out, Beau Is Afraid, A24 movie, Aster, Joaquin Phoenix. So it's, some pretty major stuff on the way. And we're going to talk to you about that, talk about the process, and kind of like how you got to this point and journey in your career. But before we kind of get into that, I always like to want to touch on how you started, kind of your background and everything like that. So first of all, how did you first get into acting?
Yeah, so I've always been introduced to the performing arts. My mom went to film school at UC Santa Cruz, so I've always been familiar with singing, performing. Whatever she was watching on the TV, I'd kind of just go in and watch. So when my older brother Remy wanted to join acting classes, I did too. Being a younger brother, I wanted to follow in his steps.
Wow.
So, I joined acting classes, and I'm more of a quiet person. I'm not, when you think of an actor, you think of an energetic person that's, really out there, but that's not really me. So acting allowed me to express myself in different ways that I otherwise would have been too scared to do. So that's really kind of why I continue to pursue it.
Okay. And I guess growing up, obviously, like you said, you've watched films, you watch TV, you kind of follow in the footsteps of your mother and your family. What were some your, I guess, favorite movies, favorite shows, kind of favorite actors growing up?
So Fight Club and Shutter Island are a lot like Beau Is Afraid. They're really, really trippy, surreal. So I love those two movies. Good Will Hunting. I really love that movie. It's a great story. Mid-90s, I skateboard a lot. So
okay.
watching a movie about skateboarders it's really great. And I love Jonah Hill. He wrote and directed that. And recently, Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's a beautiful film. I really love that. So
those some pretty heavy hitters. 16 years old. How when you first saw Fight Club?
I first saw Fight Club because my parents would always say to me when I was little, rule number 1 about Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club. Rule number 2 about okay. Fight Club, you don't talk about Fight Club. So they would always say that to me, and then later on, I just happened to watch it. And
I feel like it's a pretty good upbringing right there. That's a great list of movies, obviously all-time classics and whatnot. So, it's definitely a great introduction to filming, I think, in general. So, what were some the performances that have stuck out to you probably the most, and that you kind of look towards? Is there any one performance that you're oh, that's what I want to do?
So, all right, Basketball Diaries and This Boy's Life. Leonardo DiCaprio does amazing in those. He's so young. I think he's around my age, and he's so able to bring on those complex emotions and be such a great actor and so emotional at a young age. It's amazing that he's able to do that. And of course, Joaquin Phoenix and Joker. Playing a delirious man that's able to, he could be crying in a scene and just start laughing out of nowhere. That's so much so much talent. So
yeah, definitely. So obviously in your career, you've worked in TV and film. I want to ask, like, what are some of the biggest differences that you have found working in the like two different mediums?
You mean between TV and film?
Yeah.
So movies, I feel this is kind of like the first time that I've been associated with such a huge movie, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And I feel like with this movie, with Beau Is Afraid, I was able to relate a lot more to the character and develop the character a lot more around me and a lot more around my personal life, because Beau is super anxious. Beau is afraid. He's afraid of everything. He overthinks. It's a lot like me. I'm nervous. I'm more quiet. So I took a lot of my life and of course some of Joaquin's acting in Parenthood, and I was able to construct and develop that character a lot around me, which is great.
Okay, that's cool. You mentioned that you have like other passions. I've also read that like you're into anime. Like, so I want to ask you, like, what are some of your favorite animes?
Okay, so I started watching anime like 2 years ago, and I started with Naruto. And that anime is so great. I'm caught up on all of it. I watched all the fillers. Madara is just like the best villain ever. I watched all Boruto, but right now I'm watching One Piece. I just got to the time skip, and let me tell you, One Piece it's more than an anime. It's like it teaches so many great lessons. If I'm ever like down, I'll think about what Luffy or Naruto would do. They have a dream, and they're gonna do whatever it takes to achieve that dream. So they're just amazing characters. And One Piece is actually getting a live action on Netflix. So to be a part of that in any way would be a dream come true. So
I mean, 2 years, like I'm not even sure that's enough time to watch all of One Piece. Nor I think One Piece has been on for like 10, 15 years by now, like something great.
Something like that.
Yeah, something
insane. I started One Piece like 3 months ago, and I'm already on episode like 600. So I've been watching a lot.
All right, so I got to ask like the great question for everybody who watches anime, because I'm a lifelong fan. I grew up on Toonami. I grew up on like Dragon Ball Z and all these. Are you a sub fan, like with subtitles, or do you do dubs?
It all depends. If I'm like, it's a late night, I just want to chill, watch some anime, I'll put it in dub, because I don't feel like using any brain power to read. I just want to chill out and watch some anime. But if I'm like really in it for like the experience and there's like some crazy thing happening, then I'm gonna watch it in sub.
Okay, I think some people, it's a very heated debate amongst the anime fans for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess your first major role came on the Orville, right?
Yeah.
So how was that kind of experience?
Yeah, so the Orville, it's like this alien show. It taught me how to be patient and professional, because I played like an alien child, and I had this huge red head prosthetic, like this big over my head. I had contacts in. I was sitting in hair and makeup for like 2 hours. So that really, like as a kid, that taught me acting is more than acting. You have to be patient, and you have to be professional. I got to work with Seth MacFarlane on that. He's funny. He's a nice guy. There was a safety meeting before we shot the scene, and he was standing right next to me. And, he walks over to me, looks like he's about to say something to me. And then he puts his foot up on a chair and starts tying his shoe. And his foot is huge. He has like a size 13 foot. It's crazy. He has the biggest foot I've ever seen.
That's funny. I've actually seen a good amount of the Orville. Like you said, it's from Seth MacFarlane. brainchild behind, Family Guy, American Dad, like all these amazing shows and whatnot. Were you only in like one episodes and as that one job?
Yeah. So for the Orville, I was only in one episode playing a kid, an alien kid. Seth MacFarlane gets kidnapped in like a human zoo. So I get to like make fun of him and poke fun at him and laugh at him while he gets electrocuted. So it was really fun.
Yeah, it's actually like very reminiscent of obviously like Star Trek. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Probably a little too young for that, but obviously like the episode is like a direct callback to some classic Star Trek episodes.
Definitely.
So how was like the casting process for your first role? How did you get the role? What was your experience like going through all that?
I'm sorry, Orville?
The Orville, yeah.
I honestly don't remember it too well. I honestly don't remember it. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, no problem.
I think it was definitely in person because, COVID hadn't happened yet. So.
Okay. And obviously we're going to get to Beau Is Afraid. You said the premiere just took place.
Yeah.
So how was the premiere? How was it feeling being on the carpet, getting to see the film, getting around everybody, like to kind of get other people to see this work that you had a hand in creating?
I mean, I put everything into Beau. I tried my hardest and I put all my emotions into it. So I was filming for over a month in Montreal, Canada, and it was truly an amazing experience. Everyone I worked with was so kind, and now that I'm seeing it, everything's starting to come out. The trailers, the red carpet. It was like my first official red carpet, so taking the pictures was so amazing. I felt so awesome in my outfit. I was wearing Alexander McQueen. And I'm just really excited to see everyone's take on the film, everyone's interpretation of the film, what it means to them. Because Ari, he doesn't give the meaning of the film to the audience. He doesn't just spoon feed it to them. He leaves it up for interpretation. So I'm most excited to see everyone's interpretation.
Yeah. Obviously, Beau Is Afraid. A24 is next like really big movie. Ari Aster's next big movie. He's at this point he's really like a well-known, well-accomplished director. He's had 2 really big hits, and like this is next follow-up. So like, what was your process like getting this role? Did you know what you were like casting for? Did you know what they were working for? Like, how did you kind of get this position?
Yeah, so I got the audition. It was COVID. It was a self-tape. And I didn't know that it was for an Ari Aster film at first. What I did know is that it was to play young Joaquin Phoenix. So They said, watch Parenthood. Think of Joaquin in Parenthood. So I watched Parenthood. And for the audition, it was the audition scene that I got to tape was the kissing scene with Elaine on the cruise. So from what I got, I can tell this was a really integral part of Beau's story. So I needed to find a way to incorporate it, but it's hard because it's a self-tape. So I was thinking like, okay, I need to make an interesting choice for this audition because that's what makes it interesting choices. So I took a door mirror and I held it up to myself and I kissed myself in the mirror, pretending that it was the girl. So, I did that. I sent the audition. I was like, hey, I hope this works. And I think it worked because from there I went to do Zoom auditions with Ari and, sessions with him. And honestly, I was pretty nervous for all of them, but Ari's such a nice guy. He made me feel comfortable and which is appreciated. So.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds intense. Did you have to do like a bunch of callbacks before you got really offered the role?
Yeah, I did a couple director sessions with Ari, and then one day it was like, I think it was like my 3rd session with Ari. He 5 minutes after I'd gotten off the Zoom, my manager called me and said, "Okay, in 10 minutes we're going to send you a script. You're going to go back on the Zoom with Ari and kind of it's going to be like a kind of cold read, improv a little. The script changed a lot. So, I was pretty nervous for that, but I went on the Zoom, I did my best. I cold read the script, improv a little, and then 20 minutes later, he got a call and said, "You got the role." So it was really awesome. My brother was doing the Joker laugh. My younger brother was hugging me. It was really awesome. And from there, I just did a bunch of chemistry reads with actresses trying out for Elaine.
Okay. I mean, that's amazing. Obviously, getting to be in an Ari Aster movie, playing a young Joaquin Phoenix, but that's also has like a ton of implications, a ton of pressure. So like, were you feeling kind of that pressure going to this? Like, all right, I really got to like deliver.
Definitely. Like I said, that day I was super excited. My whole family was so excited for me, but I tried to go into bed that night. And then I realized I was like, holy shit, I'm playing young Joaquin Phoenix in an Ari Aster film. And I didn't really feel pressure from anyone else, but I put a lot of pressure on myself because from what I know, I don't think anyone has really played a young Joaquin Phoenix before.
Not that I can think of.
Yeah. So I put a lot of pressure on myself to do him justice and to make him proud, basically, because it's Joaquin Phoenix. I felt as though my acting had to be on his level. So I was really, really worried about that. But thankfully, on my last day of filming, Joaquin came to talk to me, and he basically said that, I did great. And he told me that my original self-tape audition actually inspired a lot of his older version of Beau. So that really meant a lot to me. That's amazing. That's awesome. Coming from Joaquin, and he put me at ease. So.
All right. So like, I was going to ask that, like, obviously Joaquin Phoenix, he's this kind of like established iconic figure in Hollywood and amongst actors. And he's, I think, inarguably one of our greatest actors of this modern generation. You said he was very comforting, very reassuring, very like that kind of older statesman that you would want to have when you're kind of first stepping onto like a film set. So did you get a chance to actually like watch him work and kind of see how he does his stuff on set?
Yeah. It's funny, actually. One time I was watching him film, and here I am watching Joaquin Phoenix, do his scenes, he's in character. And Lars Knudsen, the producer, comes over with my laundry and drops it off because I was at his house the night before, and his wife Amy Knudsen and their daughter, and we were having dinner together. And I mean, that just shows how nice everyone was surrounding the production. I was having dinner with the producers, and here I am watching Joaquin Phoenix, and my laundry is getting dropped off at me because I did it at their house the night before. But anyway, I got to watch Joaquin, and one of the things I learned from him is he's always in the moment. Anytime the crew is working, anytime the camera angle is getting switched, even when the actor doesn't necessarily need to be there, he's there and he's in the moment. And I think that gets the best performance out of someone if you're always present in the moment. And that just goes to show the cast or the crew works just as hard as the actor. Mm-hmm. So you always need to be there and ready to go.
So is that like something that you're like, all right, I'm going to keep that mental note for later on, hopefully down my career, like, just one of the many things that you took from him during this whole experience?
100%.
Okay. And I was going to ask, like, were you kind of basing your character off of what he was doing, but you also kind of said that he was more like basing his character off of what you were doing?
I can't speak for Joaquin. I just know what he told me. I didn't base my character off his. When I first developed the character, I hadn't seen his character yet. So like I said earlier, I just based it a lot around my life and how I was feeling at the time. I still am. I'm quiet and, I'm nervous. So, I just took that and took some of Gary and Parenthood, and I made it my own.
Okay, I mean that's gonna be pretty pretty amazing for like somebody of his stature to come and be like, I really liked what you were doing. I kind of based some of what I'm doing on with that. Like,
it's an honor.
So, Beau Is Afraid. It's a very like enigmatic movie. There's the trailer, but the trailer still doesn't really like show much or like divulge too much information about everything that's going on. So what can you tell us about this movie in general? What is it? What can people expect?
What I can say is be careful when you're parenting your kid, because if you parent them a certain way when they're younger, it can really mess them up when they're older. It's everyone's going to have their own meaning of the film to them. There's a bunch of different themes. Like Ari said, every detail has a detail. What I took from it, there's a lot of mother and son relationship. You know, Beau's mom gives so much love to Beau, and Beau has a hard time showing that back to her. That it kind of creates this resentment between the two, this anger between the two, and it leads Beau on this surreal adventure of him just trying to prove to his mom that he loves her. And you know, it's very Kafka-esque. Some obstacles that Beau has to go through feel super illogical, but it's not. It's all part of Beau's story, and it all means something.
I mean, when you put it that way, it sounds like kind of like almost like a heartwarming journey. Like he's trying to prove to his mom that he loves her and all this, but it's also an Ari Aster film. So I know like there's so much more behind that, and like there's just so much more, excuse my language, batshit crazy shit going on that I'm sure play a large part in this movie.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna have to watch and see.
All right, and obviously working with Joaquin Phoenix, the whole experience you said was great. Like, how was your experience working with Ari Aster?
Yeah, working with Ari is amazing. He knows how to communicate in a way which I basically have artistic freedom. You know, he creates such a calm environment, and he knows how to work well with people to get the best performance out of them. I felt I can express myself in the way that I wanted. He wouldn't yell across the whole stage directions. He'd get up, he would come over, whisper in my ear if he wants something changed. So he's very great at working with the actor.
Okay, that's cool. And for me, I think he's like one of my probably favorite new up and coming directors, however you want to say it. But like one thing he's always known for, especially in like his past works and past movies, is like this insane level of detail with every shot, with every set, with every like little small interaction. Was that the same case here?
Oh yeah, there's so many little details. One time we were in the trailer, you see the part where it zooms in on my face, and I like have this like expression on my face, and it's like held there for a while. During that scene, one of the background actors, a waiter, like accidentally knocked over a glass on the table behind, and I reacted. I like blinked my eyes, and Ari liked it a lot. It just seems so much more natural. So now every time we redid that scene, the waiter, the background actor would knock over the glass on purpose. So it just goes to show all the little things, they mean something.
All right. I mean, I'm definitely excited to kind of see this, but were you familiar with Ari Aster's films and works before you kind of got this offer?
Yeah. Anything my parents would watch on the TV, I would, sometimes I'd go over there and just watch whatever they were watching. One time my parents were watching Hereditary, and, I walked in the living room and they were watching Hereditary, and it was actually the scene where the kid walks into the treehouse and, like the whole devil ritual is going on and everyone's naked. Yeah. Ending. So that's the first time I saw Hereditary and saw Ari Aster. But, that's a good first impression. This is an interesting film. So I watched Hereditary, loved it. I watched Midsommar after when it came out, loved it. So I've been familiar with Ari.
Yeah, I think Hereditary might be my favorite like horror movie over the past like 10 years. Like it's insane. It's absolutely crazy.
Definitely.
Do you have like a favorite moment from your time on set, from work, from filming?
Let me think. I mean, it's definitely such an honor of what Joaquin said to me. I'll remember that forever. To even be mentioned in the same sentence as Joaquin is such a honor, and I'll forever be grateful. The whole experience was amazing. Favorite scene to shoot, favorite moment was probably the kissing scene, because I was so nervous before, but afterwards it was okay.
Okay. I guess another question I wanted to ask is, like, we're speaking about Hereditary and this also being kind of like a surreal, I don't know if it's horror, but it's definitely like horror adjacent. Do you have like any particular favorite horror films? And is this like a genre that you would typically watch on your own?
I think I want to do horror in the future. It's not something that I'm constantly watching, but I think to work on a horror film would be amazing, and it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Recently, that movie X came out by T. West.
Yeah,
I really liked that movie. That was a good movie.
I think they have another sequel coming out.
Yeah, there was X and then Pearl, right? And then it's Maxine.
Yeah, Pearl's prequel.
Yeah, I'm excited for Maxine to come out.
I think horror, especially nowadays with like actors like him, Ari, and like Jordan Peele and all these, like, it's definitely, I think, reaching a whole nother level than even before.
Oh yeah, definitely. Jordan Peele, Nope was so good. So they're all making such interesting movies. Such interesting topics. It's amazing.
Very surreal.
Definitely.
I mean, watching this trailer, it also kind of reminded me a little bit of Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and like how it kind of jumps between all these different scenes and instances, and you don't really know what's real and what's not. Like, is that something else that you kind of like picked up on?
Yeah, definitely. It's very similar to Everything Everywhere All at Once in the fact that some parts you're like, what the hell is going on? But in the end, it'll all make sense. Okay,
so first time premiere. Was this your first time actually seeing the film in its entirety?
No, thankfully I've gone to seen it at a while ago. I went to a screening just so it's fresh in my memory. I got to see it early.
Okay, and obviously, like, what you're filming and then what actually gets put out in the final product when it's done with editing, everything isn't always necessarily the same or what you were expecting it to be. Was there anything that kind of like, oh, I didn't know they were going to do this with what I did, or like,
Definitely the what we see in the trailer where I'm like looking into the camera. When I was filming that scene, I didn't realize I was looking like, it almost looks like I'm looking directly into the camera. But when I was filming it, like, I thought I was like looking to the side. I did not realize I was looking so close to the camera. So when that came on and I was like staring at myself, like we're staring at each other, that kind of surprised me.
Okay. I mean, obviously you can't say too much, obviously, because it's not out yet. And there's so many, like, I'm sure hidden like gems and moments that people want to experience for the first time. But I'm super excited to see this. I'm definitely going to be there day one. Ari Aster is one of my favorite directors. Joaquin Phoenix is one of my favorite actors out there, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now that this is out, do you have any future goals? Are there any like dream roles that you would want to portray in? Obviously, other than like maybe One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece is definitely a dream, but I just want to, collaborating with my brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother. They're both super talented. That would be amazing. I just want to continue to work on interesting films that make you think, that have an impact. And you know when you're watching a film and a certain character sticks with you, or the whole movie altogether, it makes you think. I want to continue to push my limits as an actor and to work on those types of films and stories that mean something. And ultimately, I want to continue to act and seek. I seek longevity. I want to be 80 years old still acting. So.
Okay. All right. And like I said, are your brothers also actors?
Yeah. My younger brother, Marcel, he was recently in a movie called Spinning Gold and a movie called Moving On. So super proud of my little brother. He has another project coming out soon. I think it's Please Don't Destroy. He got to work on that project. And then my older brother, he's more into music. He has his own band. He plays guitar, the drums. So I think he's taking more of the music route.
Okay. And I know you said you want to collaborate and work with them on future stuff, but like, are you also competitive when it comes to like these roles and like your careers and anything like that? Because I know if I were in your position, I'd be throwing it all in my brother's face right now.
No, I don't think so. I memean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we're perfect. I mean, we're brothers. We fight all the time. I share my room with my little brother, Marcel. We're always bickering, but no, we're pretty different in age range. So it's not like we're constantly competing for the same roles. And I think it's just important that, we're family. So sometimes it's all that we got. Families, we're here to lift each other up. So I think it's important that instead of competing with each other, we support each other.
Great answer. You're definitely more mature than I was at your age. And it shows because, you're in Beau Is Afraid working with Joaquin Phoenix and Aster. And like I said, we can't wait to check it out. And this is a huge milestone, obviously, for you and your career. And I can't wait for everybody to get to see it and get to see your role in it.
Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thank you for joining us, and great talking to you.
All right. Nice talking to you. Thank you for having me.